What's up, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you my first ever guide for the brand new 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross game that has come out to mobile for the Japanese version, and of course, we are all hoping for when is a global version. This game is so good. So, if you have been joining us on the game, it is a very, very fun game. I'm going to be going over how to get started in the game, all the little tips and tricks and things with it. And of course, we have a really fun guide that actually was written by some really good content creators in the Reddit community. So I actually asked them, both of the creators, if I could go over this in a YouTube video. So we're going to be going over it and, of course, give them plenty of credit. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright guys, so we're going to be going over the 7 Deadly Sins Hikari no Yami no Grand Cross, or just Grand Cross we call it. So we call it, the acronym for this game is SDSGC, or I just call it 7DS, making it much simpler. So it's very, very good. So of course we have 2 really, really big content creators here for this. It's going to be Tetora, who I have actually never heard of Tetora before, but Antonlabz I have heard of. Antonlabz is a big content creator in the One Piece Treasure Cruise community. Does a lot of the infographics that people see for treasure mode, etc. So big shout out to both of them. Very, very cool that we got this here. So of course, going further into this, this was updated as of the 17th of June, so it's as of yesterday. So table of contents, we have full table of contents, breaks down everything, every stage of everything, and goes over everything in detail. So first off, for characters, let's go over a breakdown of characters. Every character in the game is going to have 2 separate skills. They're all going to have 1 passive, and that passive, by the way, you do not get until each character receives a certain power level, which, as you can see below there, about 16k power level per character. And they're also going to have 1 ultimate. So essentially, you start the game, when you're starting out, it's just 2 skills and 1 ultimate, and the passive comes later. It doesn't sound like much, but apparently it is actually very, 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 very inclusive in a lot of different things. So rarity, by the way, in this game is not the end-all be-all. SSRs are not the end of everything you want. SRs are not the end of everything you want. Rares, URs, rarity is relative to how much you want to put work into a specific character. So guys, rarity of characters, whenever you have a rare character, they can be maxed out at level 30, and then you can actually evolve them to an SR or an SSR, and then finally a UR. So every character has the same level cap, and the level cap, by the way, is level 65 currently. So all the characters in the game can go either from level 30 all the way to 65, but if they start out as an SR, they'll start at level 40. They start in an SSR, they'll start out to max out at level 50, and then you can evolve them to UR. So if you are going to use a character, they will most likely have to be in the UR form when you get to a mid to late game. Going into characters, there are different ways of leveling up characters. The first way to level up characters is going to be by just playing the game, and actually playing the game, you're able to get experience in the characters. And the other way is by feeding these items that you see on the screen here, which are potions that are able to be obtained during these SP dungeons to level your units. Now, each of these does cost a certain amount of gold to level up based on their current character level. So my personal opinion here is start with the lowest ranked ones that you have first, and then go to the higher ranked ones, because the higher level your character is, the more gold it takes to level up the character. So when you get to higher levels, it will cost less to use those items. So definitely start with your lower level potions and get to your higher levels. Now, each of these potions, of course, is upgradable, and that will be explained at a later part in this tutorial. Next up, we have limit breaks. Each character in the game, including rares, SRs, SSRs, all characters in the game can be limit broken, and each of the limit breaks allow you to get more stats on each character. Now, what's really interesting about the limit breaks is each limit break, from what I have seen so far, is exactly the same per character. And there is actually a breakdown on the SGC database, which shows you exactly what stats that you get for each limit break evolution. So to max a limit break evolution, you're going to need these medals here, which are going to be rare medals, SR medals, or even SSR medals. Now, these medals, by the way, are not farmable. You cannot farm these to excess. they are semi-farmable. Now you can farm these, but it does take a little bit longer to farm them, much more so than these books. These magic books are much easier to farm, by far, than these SR, SSR, and rare metals. So all these necklaces of evolution, or metals, whatever you want to call them, are much more difficult to farm. Just know that you do not want to waste these. These are very vital to your gameplay. Now, the SR metals, you're going to spend those on story mode characters as you start out. So there is your tidbit early on, is that if there's a character that you're receiving free to play, that is a character you're probably going to want to spend SR medals on, especially if they are one of the sins. But the story mode will tell you exactly what you want to use them for and what you need. So just know that that is something you'll have to do as time goes on. Now, going into characters, there is something called Awakening. Now, Awakening is essentially the same thing as is a part of the Limit Break. Limit Break is the option allows you to unlock additional stats on your characters, like I just mentioned, and they either take Blood of the Demon God or Water of Life, depending on the character. Now, other various items can be cleared during free dungeons. These are attainable during boss stages. So these items are farmable, and they are only farmable during the boss stages, which are available, I believe, once per day per town. So you can do it a total of 5 times, I believe, at this point. And then you can also join in on your friends' dungeons as well whenever they are starting it up. So that allows for more than 5 clears in one day. But to be honest, it does take a little bit more time to do these raids, or these dungeons or bosses or whatnot. So don't feel like you're going to be hampered here in any way. Now, skill ups. These are something I am going to touch on very heavily here, and this is something you do not want to do lightly. So first off, duplicates in this game, whenever you pull a duplicate, whenever you get another free-to-play duplicate, most likely it's going to be a pullable duplicate, you're going to get a coin. And these coins are going to have different rarities. They're either going to be a rare, rare level, SR level, or SSR level. Now, each of these coins is very valuable, and they can help you upgrade your ultimate skill. However, you may not want to go that route right away, because there are a lot of things that these coins can be used for. The dupe system in this game is extremely, extremely good, and I highly recommend, if you guys are free to play, to definitely hold on to your coins for something that you're going to really need. So as time progresses, you'll understand what that is. So don't spend your coins all in one place. Don't spend them on upgrading ultimate skills. Just hold on to them. Even your SSR coins, all that, hold on to them. You'll understand why as time goes on. You just keep playing the game. Another thing we're going to be going over is gear. And gear is a big thing that we're going to get into in a very detailed fashion. This is a very, very complicated thing. So every gear set in this game allows characters to have their stats upgraded. Now, there are many different passives that are going to be available for different characters, and you'll notice on this character that there are a lot of SSR items as well as common items. Now, there is a meta going around right now that is the current best, air quotes, hella air quotes, best way, free to play, by the way, free to play. If you're a whale, then SSR all the way, and just, yeah, but you'll understand why in a second. There is a meta going around right now that says, hey, you don't want to go all SSR items. You want to go SSR on the left-hand side of your item set only, because they have the higher of the stat boost versus the right-hand side. The right-hand side is also harder to obtain SSR items on the final item, which is this item here with the health orb. This one right here is a very difficult item to attain for SSR. I've been playing this game for over a week. I'm level 35 right now. I have 0 SSR orbs, but I have a lot of SSR other gear, all +5 to everything. So I have a bunch of characters already built out with gear, but I do not have any of these SSR orbs yet. They are much more difficult to obtain, and the reason they're much more difficult to obtain is they're only available on a 3% drop rate. The rest of this gear can actually be obtained with a 100% drop rate after doing 8 runs of specific missions at hard mode. So this meta right here is a very different meta, and we're going to be going over that a little bit detail. So this is a very interesting part. So currently, there are a lot of different ways of building gear, and I think, yeah, here it is. This right here is the breakdown of all the different types of gear sets. So in each of the chapters, there are 5 chapters where you can obtain different types of gear sets. First off, the chapter 1 allows you to attack, making it very easy to get a attack for your bonus. If you have 4 items that are part of that attack set, you get a passive, which gives you a 20% attack bonus. After that, there is crit defense, critical damage, critical rate, critical resilience, defense, HP, steel recovery rate, etc. Most of the characters that you're going to start out with are going to be off this meta. You're going to want to have 4 of your items be attack and 2 of your items be defense. The reason that is because defense for plus 20% defense only takes 2 items, as well as attack taking 4 items, giving you the total breakdown, and as you can see here, of 3 of these items on the left hand side being of the attack. The bottom right one's going to be attack as well, and these 2 other ones are going to be defense items. Now it can be any combination of these sets. The stats, or the base stats of the items, does not really change from item type to item type. So if you have an SSR defense bracelet and you have a common ring that is for attack instead, that would be fine. There is no real difference between the two in stats. That is just one way of doing it. Personally, that is an easy way of getting your gear all said and done. That is a very, very simple way to do it. I agree with that method. It's nice, it's easy, it's good done. Now, the reason people go with the common gear on the right-hand side is you'll notice that this set of gear over here has stars on it versus this set of gear does not have stars on it. Now, the reason that one has stars and the other one does not have stars is because you can get any set of item to +5. Once you get to +5, then you can upgrade it again, giving it kind of a prestige or whatnot, or star, and that allows you to get a passive ability. And these passive abilities have different percentages on them, which allow you to get different substats, which is super nice. Now, the substats that you're gonna get on the ring, of course, the recommended one is attack, and rerolling. You can reroll those consistently to try to get the attack stat you want. Honestly, it takes like 200,000 gold just to max that out and get all the rolls to like somewhat decent, but not even like all attack. So it can be an excessive amount of money that you would spend on a ring there. But when it comes to SSR equipment and evolving SSR equipment and re-rolling the passives on SSR equipment, it actually requires gems. So that's why the meta right now, because it costs so much less gold, we're talking insane amounts less, to get the common rarity items to 5-star versus a rare rarity item or an SR rarity item or an SSR rarity item takes massively less gold. We're talking the difference between a common item and a rare item is more than 5 times less. So it takes so much less to get this common item to 5-star that it's actually worth it right now to do. Because if you do end up wanting to do SSR equipment later, it will be fine. As far as stats go, a 5-star ring, I believe, is not on par with just a 5+5 SSR ring, but the percentage stats that you get after that, which increase your base stats, is extremely good. So that's why it's really, really nice to have these substats here. Now, each of these substats can be very, very different, and each substat that you can get can change based on the item. I don't have it on the screen right now, but rings allow for attack substats, whereas orbs, as you can see, allow for HP substats. Both of those are a little bit harder to obtain. The rings as well as the earrings, the earrings as well as the necklaces provide more defensive-based stats. So HP and crit resist, there's a lot of different substats you can get in the orbs as well as on the earrings, so doesn't really matter which way you go. Just know that there are a lot of substats there that you can get. My thought is people going for the HP stat is for max min. It's actually a little bit better to go for an HP percentage versus a defense percentage because the scaling is a little bit higher. So that's why people are probably going for the HP stat versus the defense stat. Then going for the next part, which is going to be costumes. Now, costumes are not just cosmetics in this game, as you can see here. Costumes actually provide substats, which is really interesting. It's a nice little innate pay-to-win thing that's in the game that allow you to just get different costumes on your character, which actually allow you to get more damage on your character. It's really cool. So if you do a different cosmetic for your sword, or a different cosmetic for your outfit, for your hair, those actually provide stats, which is really cool. It's not just a nice cool look. It's actually a cool look plus stats. So SR costumes cost 10 gems, SSR costumes cost 20 gems, and UR costumes cost 30 gems. And each of these can be purchased in different ways. In order to change costume, you select the desired one and click the top yellow button. It allows you to change between costumes, but you have to buy some of them. Now, for example, green SR Guild Thunder limit break costumes are also unlocked for the red SSR Guild Thunder and vice versa, in some cases where costumes aren't shared between the same character, like the exclusive Coin Shop Bond. So, some costumes you can't share, but most you can. Really just depends on the characters. Alright, so now that we've talked about how to build characters, what their substats are, what all the cool things you can do with gear, and the fun, crazy thing there, let's talk about how you actually play the game and how the fight system works. And we can talk about different characters, different stats, and different strategies you can use. So each team, no matter what you can do, has 4 characters and 4 supporters. So the main character, while the main characters are kind of self-explanatory, these are the guys that fight, the bigger boxes over here. The sub-characters right here, they actually boost the assigned characters. Now you'll notice that each of these has a little sword icon right here, as well as a little cross symbol over the swords. So if those characters have this little swirly cross symbol here right inside the swords, that's just a unit that has a relationship with another unit. If they have the swords going through it as well, that actually will increase your ultimate ability by a certain percentage, which actually increases your stats even further and gives you more damage. As you see in the picture below, Jericho is assigned a bomb, which improves his stats, but he also gives them what's called a fate combo. The fate combo is what I just mentioned for increasing your ultimate ability and gives you a different ultimate animation. So if you were using your ultimate and you didn't have a support character, you have one animation. However, if you have the correct supporter character, you'll actually get this sword thing, which will make it so that you actually have a whole different animation on your specials, and will give you more damage on those specials or more healing or whatever it may be. It's also a stat boost, so what you're going to want to know also is, from what I can tell here, the units in the sub, once swapped in, once your main character dies, they leave. So once you build your team, you'll notice here, I actually tested this today. So this Simon, you can see, is a rare level Simon. I actually took the time today, and I was playing around a little bit, and I took the time of taking my Simon, which is the support character on Slater here, and I actually took him from rare all the way to UR at level 60, and the difference was massive for my Slater. My Slater's damage went through the roof. Before, it was like pretty good damage, and then I saw at least a 20 to 30% increase in damage, which was way higher than I expected after just leveling a support character. So support characters can heavily affect your main characters and give you a large increase in damage. So definitely invest in, if you have a specific team set up, try to figure out what support characters work best with those characters and definitely invest in them afterward. You want to build out your main team first, and then you want to start building out support characters. There's only one good rare support character, and that's Simon. So the rest of them are going to be SR or SSR rarity, so they're going to be a little bit longer on the time it takes to level up. Alright, so while fighting in the game, there is a card system, and each character on your field allows you to get up to 7 cards. Now, every character that dies, you will lose 1 card. So let's say you have 3 of your main characters in your squad, and you have 7 cards on the field. One of your characters dies, now your sub comes into your squad, and then you actually will only have 6 cards. Then another one dies, 5 cards, then 4 cards. And if you have 3 characters in your squad, you have 3 moves. If you have 2 characters in your squad left, you only have 2 moves, and finally 1 character for 1 move. Now there are different story modes that it is a little bit different, and that's not the case, but for the most part, this is true. You have different following. Once you wanted to use the card system, you basically have 2 options. First, you can either tap a card, or you can move a card. So you tap the card, and it allows you to use that ability, or 2, you move the card into a different section on the card list, allowing you to merge different cards together. Now, 2 of the same rarity cards put together allow you to get, more stuff, so that's great. At this point in the game, if you're watching this tutorial, I'm assuming that you've already done this part of the game. But if you haven't done this part of the game, I just recommend just playing the game. You'll understand it. It's very easy to understand once you start playing it. But those are the broad strokes of what happens during your fights. And I don't need to go too much further in detail because the rest of this is more of a do rather than a me explain thing. Just play the game. You'll understand it. It's very simple once you play a little bit. Now let's go into quests. These are different things that are coming out throughout the day. Now, during any of your quests, there's going to be a main story quest, which is going to be in yellow. This D-Day 14, by the way, which is now at D-Day 1, POG, is basically just to show you, hey, this is the main storyline. And D-Day is basically saying, hey, this is how long till we have the next story adventure. So they actually do show you, so that's great. So if you progress in the story to X point and you finish the story, then they tell you how long till the next part of the story. So that's great. I love that. That's pretty cool. So otherwise, yellow story quests, if you're just starting out, are just going to show you, hey, this is what you got to do. Green quests are your priority quests. These are daily quests. Now, right at this point in the game, as of June 17th/18th, there is only 7 available in the game. It will increase as time goes on for the amount of daily quests that you have. Pink quests are Sin Awakening quests. These are the story mode quests I had mentioned. Remember earlier I had mentioned you may want to save onto your SR medals because you may want to save them for story mode. Now these pink quests are going to require SR medals or SR necklaces, whatever you want to call them. Now these SR necklaces or awakening medals that you're going to need are going to be required for you to progress in the story further. You 100% need them. So please try to save your SR medals directly for these sins so that you can awaken them into the proper form. These will give you large amounts of rewards, SSR medals, as well as gems, and maybe even some pull tickets along the way. So definitely, please save them for this. The next one are Village Affinity quests. Now, these are not going to be available until you finish the Blue Affinity quests. So going into any kind of town, there are 5 different levels of any town. You can start at level 1, of course, and it goes up to level 5. Once you level 5, then you get more rewards and stuff. But to start out with, when you're in a town, you want to do the blue quests. Do as many of them as you can. Once they're on easy, they'll go up to a normal version. They go up to normal difficulty once you hit 4 hearts in the town, and then hard becomes available once you hit 5 hearts in a town. So that is how the story progresses and how you get things in the town done. You have to complete all the blue quests. You have to complete all the red quests in order to get further and further in the towns. You can even use your gold to level up a town. However, I don't recommend spending more than the actual 100,000 per town that is required for the quests. So don't go beyond that point. Once you hit town level 5, you are going to have to go back into the town, by the way, to get more blue quests, which are going to allow you to finish out your level 5. And then, of course, at that point, you can then get your 30 gems for completing that. Now, below this, you'll also see that if you're not sure if a stage has been cleared, you can see the clear icon on the left. I'm going to skip that part. Villages in Affinity, and this is basically what I went over. You notice here that you'll start out at town level 1, and it goes up to town level 5 on these hearts. And you'll also notice on the sides here, you can see some even areas are not even open to you until you hit a certain town level. And don't worry, it doesn't take that long to get from town level 1 to town level 4. That is actually really easy. Town level 4 to town level 5 takes a little bit longer, but once you understand how to do the normal quests and do them quickly, it doesn't go that's hard. Looking back, for the first town, I recommend going for the attack item route and actually just getting out your SR gear just a little bit, just in the first town. Once you hit the second town, however, I recommend only going for the food quests. It actually becomes a lot easier to do the food quests for the normal version until you get to the hard mode, because you actually get 1200 experience versus 800 for the item quests. So do the food quests when you're leveling up towns. Food is actually really helpful because it provides stats if you ever want to use it. Also, by creating food, You're able to give different affection to characters, which can give you more gems, which can actually give you different cosmetics for their hair or whatnot, and actually unlock different abilities and, of course, more stats for your characters. So overall, food is a very good route to go versus going with the gear route. Unfortunately, both routes will require some box space, so you're going to have to upgrade your box space at some point. I had to. It sucked. Advice if a location is unknown and save time. If you're not sure where an item is, there's actually a really helpful thing in the game. So if you click an item anywhere, if you click this section right here, which is going to have a loot box over it, it's going to pull up a list which will show you the items. If you click on an item specifically, it'll pull up this window. And you're not sure where to go get that item, you're going to click this yellow button here, and it's actually going to tell you exactly where to get these items. So it'll tell you exactly what areas you can actually get them. So you can just click on that, and it'll actually just take you right there. So the game is really nice, and it tells you exactly where to farm the things you want to farm. Also on the field, you can notice that if you're looking at the screen, you'll be able to see all these different items on the side here. If you want to hide them at any point, there's actually a button down here in the bottom left to hide all the side stuff here, so you don't have to see them all the time. I actually have mine hidden most of the time because it's a little bit easier for me to find the quests that way for where the exclamation points and all that stuff is. But that's what it is. Okay. So there's also a button down here in the bottom right-hand corner, and this is something you need to know on the world map. Just remember this button on the bottom right-hand corner here. This button will take you to, right here, the SP and dungeon events. Events are what you want to focus on, just like daily quests. Daily quests and events should be your primary focus initially. Now, these are very important because those two things go away, and then we don't know when they come back. The other thing, of course, you want to focus on every single day is focus on SP events, because there's an SP dungeon that you're able to run 3 times per day, which gives you extremely good drops, helps you get toward another SSR medal, which is really important. And of course, all of that is very good for evolving your characters, giving you XP potions, etc. You can also go to boss fights here. This is something you're going to have to worry on later. Essentially, what happens is you have to kill a certain mini boss a certain amount of times until you are able to get the actual raid boss spawn. Once the raid boss spawns, then you fight with a partner in order to take down a demon. So right now that's the boss. I don't know if it's going to change over time, but we'll see. And finally, we have PvP. And this we're actually going to go over all the different things. So events, of course. If you ever hit your event tab, there's going to be 3 tabs at the top. The first tab is just the information tab, what it says. Obviously, you don't read Japanese, so this is something that you're not going to be able to see or read. So the second tab is basically event stages. This is something that you're going to want to hit. The middle one is the one you want to hit. The third tab, remember this one. Third tab is the money tab. So third tab is, hey, complete this mission every day, you get gems or whatever reward. You're getting like 2 gems a day off this, so it's nice. This is pretty nice, so definitely remember. Second stage tab, event stages are listed there, and they can be accessed very easily, so if you're not sure where the event is or where to go, it just lets you click on that and it brings up the event tab so to actually go there. So SP dungeons, this top one right here, you can see how much SP you have left. This can be re-unlocked daily if you want to, but you can pay to unlock it with gem items and some other stuff, but I'll go into that in a bit. Essentially, these SP dungeons are very valuable. Do not forget to farm these daily. They're very valuable to get these SSR medals. 100% really good. The harder the difficulty, if you're not able to do the max difficulty, don't freak out, because honestly, it took me about 5-6 days to get to the hardest difficulty. It takes a little time, and this is me pushing as hard as I can. So it takes a little bit. These ones are here in the middle. These ones will change daily. They rotate between green, red, and blue. And then, of course, on Sundays, everything's open. So green on Monday and Thursday, red on Tuesday and Friday, and blue on Wednesday and Saturday. So these, on the left-hand side, you can use this to farm experience potions. On the right-hand side, you can use them for farming evolution books. The one you're going to farm much more often is going to be the experience potions. Trust me, you're going to run that a lot. And then for the evolution materials, you're going to need SSR medals, which is much more difficult to obtain. So just know that's the thing. Now this one right here, this is gold runs. These are actually limited to 5 times per time frame, and they're only available during certain time frames. If you're not sure when that is, it'll actually say at the bottom how many hours, how many minutes and how many seconds. You can see this, hours, minutes, seconds. This right here in the middle, minutes. Remember that symbol, it's easy. Minutes, that's all you gotta remember. Days, by the way, will look like a square within this, 2 squares basically on top of each other, like a rectangle with a line in the middle. Boss stages. Boss stages, drop orbs, awakening materials, blood of the demon god, water of life. These are just for super evolution. So basically going past level 60 for limit breaking, etc. All that stuff is for boss stages. These are the raids. The boss stages allow you to unlock raids. This is the end game content. This is what I'm farming right now. It's actually really fun and a somewhat grind, but like it's actually tough. It's tough. But once you complete this, by the way, there's also a sub thing that happens is the town. You're able to complete this, as I mentioned, up to 5 times per day. That's once per town. Once you've completed it, you actually get a 20% discount on all items sold. I don't know for sure, but it might affect selling items into the store, and you actually might get a 20% boost there. I'm not 100% sure on that. I thought I saw more gold last time. Honestly, I'm not sure on that, but you could try it. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? That it's like a 10% certainty there. I don't know. I did it one time, but I wasn't really paying attention. I thought it was more though. And then PvP. PvP happens in real time. You have a timer to fight versus other players. Battle system's pretty normal. It's exactly the same as normal. But the difference is when you're fighting other players, it's much different than fighting an NPC. And the reason it's much different is because the characters that you're going to want to bring are also going to be different. Some characters are going to be more utility based, some characters are going to be more healing based. You're going to bring different things for the content than you would normally do. And you'll actually understand after you run PvP a few times that, oh, the team I've been using is really good for farming content very quickly, but it's not maybe super efficient in PvP. I need to change things up. So that's why there are different tier lists and things like that for PvP and etc. So it gets a little weird. So daily freebies and discounts. This is I touched on this already, but let's go over it in full detail. 7 Deadly Sins Grand Class is relatively generous and offers a handful of free and discounted stuff, so make sure to grab these. So login rewards every single day. If you talk to Elizabeth, or if you get farther enough in the story, go with her. Spoilers. Then you get those. You have to log out and log back in. Remember that you can't just click the item thing. You have to log out, log back in. Gear gacha upon freeing single free. That's very long. Anyways, every single day, you have 1 single that's discounted from 3 gems down to 1 gem. So you can do that once per day. I usually do it just for fun. You get a free SR chest in the SR coin shop, which allows you to basically get some extra gold. It's not that much. It's like less than 20,000. So it's not that much, but it's every little bit helps. And then a discounted, that's what it's on, discounted Singapore. Also, I think the gear gachapon, that you can get you, gear gachapon. You're able to go into the gear shop and it'll actually allow you to pull for gear, but every single day you get a free pull. So in the boar hat, there's a bunch of different things. I guess we can go over this as well. Bond allows you to do cookings. I kind of touched on that before. It's very important to do. Elizabeth is your login rewards, and then goes later. Spoilers. DNs for salvaging. This the broken sword on salvaging allows you to take any equipment that you don't want and turn it into upgrade materials for other equipment. Note: try to hold on to your common equipment. Save you a little bit of gold later. Some, not all, just some. If it's anything, as I mentioned, a ring, an earring, or an orb in common for any rarity, just save it. Just save it. Just save you some time later. Just save those. If they're rare rarity or SR rarity, you can shard them. It's fine. Unless you're at if you're really early on, SR rarity might be good for you. But you know, if you're getting to the point where you're starting to get SSR gear heavily, then try not to. You're fine. All right. King has merge and breakdown. Now this is a little bit tricky. Essentially, you can take any rarity of book and you can either move it up in rarity or down in rarity, or even change colors. So if you have too much of one color, you can change to another color. This allows you to do that for a lot of different things. You can also upgrade any of your awakening stones, not your awakening metals, by the way. You can't do that. I checked. I was really sad. XP potions you can do. Blood of the demon god or water of life, which are your other evolution materials that you may need. All of these are very, very helpful. Now, you can see over here on the left over here, if you want to upgrade to another tier, it's going to cost 6. If you want to downgrade, it's going to cost 1, but you actually get 2 in return, so it's not the worst, it's fine. And then if you ever want to swap, it costs 2 to get 1. So if you want to swap between colors, you want to swap to a red book to a blue book, it costs 2 red books to get 1 blue book. Very simple. So it's very self-explanatory here, exactly what it costs. It actually will show you. You're going to increase the amount so you don't have to do them like one at a time. It's really nice. The coin shop. All right. You mentioned earlier. Remember earlier when I said, hold on to your coins. This is the important part, tier list, rare recruits, all that stuff. This is the very important wait for this moment part. So this right here, the coin shots have 4 different categories and all different currencies. There's SSR coins, SR coins, rare coins, and friendship coins. Again, so the rare coins, any silver dupe, any gold dupe is going to be a gold coin. Any SSR dupe is going to be an SSR coin. Now, these are extremely valuable. Extremely valuable. So, some of the best character game, if not all of the best characters in the game, are hidden behind this coin shop. So, you'll notice here, this character right here, which is Bon, which is when the character shop was made. Right now, if you're in the shop, it is Gowther. Gowther Insane. All the tier 1 units, not all, but most of them, are in the coin shop. So if you want some of the best units in the game, it's going to require 5 SSR coins. Okay? It's going to require 5 to get any of these characters. That means if you get 5 duplicate SSRs, you should be happy, not unhappy. This is very, very, very good because you can get some of the best characters in the game. Now, even if you have a crazy amount of dupes, and you have every single coin shop character in the game, you can still use every single one of those for SSR tickets. Guaranteed SSR to trade it in for another one. So guys, again, these rainbow coins, super, super valuable. Now, the gold shop as well, these will allow you to get the gold coins will allow you to get slightly less good SSR units. They are very good and very strong, but they are not as strong as, of course, the SSR coin shop characters. It really just depends on what you want. Now, but the gold coin shop has Gila, Hendrickson. It's got Hauser, a couple other characters. Oh, Slater. And all of those characters are extremely helpful in content. There's a lot of content that all of those characters are very, very good for. Of course, most of the time, these other SSR coin shop characters are the best characters in the game, so you're definitely going to want those. But much, much, much harder to get. So it definitely rewards whales, but it also helps free-to-play players out that play over longevity. So if you are playing this game for a very long time and don't have all the coin shop characters, these do rotate in sequence. So they're gonna have. Don't worry if you miss out on one, you probably have another chance to pick one up. All right. Also in this, this is also available on my Discord as well as on the Reddit Discord. This gives you an idea of what some of the more interesting things on Japanese to understand. So first off, power level. If you ever see this square part right here, that's my first takeaway for power level. This double square thing. This thing right here, power level. Just remember that part of it. Attack, remember this part of the symbol. That's all you're gonna remember the whole time. If you ever see this symbol, it means attack. It means a little I with this thing next to it. And then if I see a B, that's defense. That's all you gotta remember. Everything else is whatever. Now, also, any kind of healing or recovery is always going to have a square within a square here. And that's how it works. And then critical is actually just written critical in katakana here. But, like, different kinds of critical stuff. So, there's critical chance, critical damage, critical, reduce critical chance, and, of course, reduce the amount of damage from a critical. So, there's, like, a lot of crit stuff. But, anyways, yeah. There's also some great things in here for the database, which has a great listing of all the characters, tier lists, etc., and gives you a full breakdown of everything. And of course, big shout outs, of course, to the Reddit sub community. Those guys are awesome. We've had a lot of good information from them lately, and of course, they put out there's a data miners on there as well. We have the guys from the database that are working on there as well that are very, very helpful. So guys, thank you over there. Big shout out, of course, to Anton as well as Tetora. Thank you guys so much for writing this guide for the new players in the game. This is an amazing game. I'm having so much fun playing it. I will have some gameplay videos out for later. Alright guys, my name is Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my first ever video for 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I'm sorry if there's any errors in the video or if any problems there. I had to do this all in one take and I'm a little bit short on time there, so I apologize. Again, big shout outs to Tetora as well as Antonlabz for putting together this guide. Super helpful for a lot of new players. I, of course, did not go over every single thing that I could possibly go over ever, even though this was a 30 freaking minute video, so I, again, apologize for the length of the video. But if you do want to check us out on Discord or you want to check us out on any other social media, of course, check it out in the description below. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.